Happy New Year! I hope you guys had a very happy New Year celebration, whether that was out with friends or going to bed super early. Today I am setting up my brand new bullet journal for 2018, which I'm really excited to finally set up so I can start making plans for the new year. I decided to go for a very simple design to start off with. As you know, I prefer to use my bullet journal in an incremental manner, so what you see today could be very different in a few months down the line. The notebook I'm using is a German notebook called Leuchtturm, and I know I never say it right. My German pronunciation is very, very poor, but I do know that the name stands for lighthouse, so that's something. So let's start off with the cover, which is just going to be an ultra simple half wreath using my Unipin pen. And I'm purposely using this pen just in case I decide to watercolor and add to this design in the future. And I'm going to put the 2018 right in the middle. I saw this design whilst going through Pinterest for inspiration, and as simple as it may look, I may have had to practice this a few times off camera to get it right. Yeah. Okay, so on to the next page. I won't be setting up an index page since the bullet journal comes with 3 pages for that already, so at the start I'm going to go straight into my future log. And I originally wanted to try and have all 12 months on the 2 pages so I would have a single view, but because I wanted to write out the actual events, I wouldn't have the space to have all 12 months on that, and then on top of that maintain a very kind of spacious look, so I decided to just go over 4 pages. On the future logs, I will be marking down things like birthdays, public holidays, trips, just really any major events I need to be aware of when I'm planning other trips or any events later in the year. I'm not really sure if it shows in the video or not, but I feel like I spent a lot of time trying to make sure everything fits within the grid so that I don't write myself off the page, and I just want to make sure everything is spaced out evenly. The next pages are going to be pretty bare because they are pages I intend to fill out and add to as the year goes on. The first page is where I plan to list out all my yearly goals and resolutions, which is something I'm still working on, but if you're curious to know what my high-level resolutions are, then you can head over to my main channel where I uploaded a video yesterday talking about my high-level resolutions, goals, all that sort of related stuff. The following page I'll be tracking all my earnings, and then the page after that will be my shop schedule, what releases are coming, and more tracking the state of each release down to whether I finished the designs, where it lives in the shop, whether it's been featured in a new release video or not, so on and so forth. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing for all my videos for my planner channel, my main channel, and my blog. And I'm also going to add a page for any books I managed to read this year. I'm really not much of a bookworm, but I'm really hoping to change that a bit this year. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the yearly view. So I'm going to move on to January's cover page where I'll add the monthly title and then my monthly goals. I'll be keeping my goals fairly light and attainable to see how I ease back in traditional working life again and how I'll balance my online activities with it. And then I decided to go for a very monochrome simple look with dots. The only issue I kept experiencing during this is that my hand kept smudging the dots I had just drawn. So it's something I'd need to be a lot more careful next time and plan ahead for it. To avoid too much smudging, I'm going to be using this piece of paper to act as a buffer. So in the next page, I'm going to be writing up my month on a view. Here I tend to list out the same events I would in the future log, but I'll also be adding a little bit more detail. For example, here I'll also be adding the fact that I'll be going to work, as well as public holidays, birthdays, and trips. And over the month, if I have any appointments or events, I'll be adding those in too. I have seen some bullet journalers where sometimes they have like 2 appointments a day or stuff like that, so they tend to move that sort of timeline into the center of the page. I don't really know what's going to happen yet, so I'm just going to keep mine to the left-hand side, but if I end up having too many appointments, then you'll be sure that I'll be moving it right across into the middle for February. The next page is going to be my habit tracker, which honestly hasn't changed much over the last few spreads I've done. I think I just found that the tracker really suits me. However, each month I do tend to change up the habits just a little bit, and I also think this time I'll only be marking down the habits down with a black pen instead, since I really can't afford to be carrying a bunch of pens with me to work every day. It's been a lot easier to make it multicolor when I'm at home because I have access to all my pens, but I do want to bring my bullet journal in to work with me, so I'm just going to have to stick with my tried and true black pen. And now moving on to the last page before my weekly spread, my month of 2-page view. Took me a little bit to figure out the measurements for this page because I'm so used to the Moleskine notebook, which is a little bit skinnier, but I figured it out and I managed to draw out each of the days. And I'm also trying to pull the design theme from my cover page to my monthly view. I'm actually considering doing the same for my weekly views just so that the entire month has this very cohesive design. For this view, I tend to mark down a lot of things. So this would be the most complete view where we'll have my social media schedule, my shop schedule, any social media engagements I have, or any social engagements I have. It's much more of a working view than a planning view. And if you guys are curious to know why I have so many different views that are essentially repeating the same things, it's because I use each view for different purposes. So I'll use the future log if I just want to see where I have some big gaps in my schedule. If I want to agree to say a weekend away, or if Tobias and I are planning a trip for the year or anything like that, then I can look to that view and instantly know where I have pockets of free time in my year. In the single page in a month view, that's really good for more offline activities because I do put in all my offline appointments in that, and it's just a very easy way to quickly skim through and see again where I have pockets in my time and all that sort of stuff. However, in my 2-page monthly view, this is really more for my online activities because it is more focused on social media, shop, videos, blogging, all that sort of stuff. And the only reason I still add in things like my public holidays and birthdays is just so I can see how all that stuff coincides with birthdays and other social engagements. So that's the entire video. I decided not to film the weekly part as part of this video, but if you do want to see any of my weekly spreads come together in the future, then be sure to let me know down in the comments below and I'll do my best. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I cannot wait to start filling out my new journal. Thank you so much for watching. This is Celina reporting from my room. Back to you, Internet.